in the run-up to the election from political participants and encouraged many people to take part. However, the publication of figures in relation to permanent voting cards and how they had been distributed across polling units was not made available. The information about the distribution of permanent voting cards across states was made available very late in the process, so that it was very difficult for civil society and members of the public here in Nigeria to verify or in any way audit the accuracy of those PVC numbers. And clearly that goes to the transparency of the election, and it is an area which we have noted in our preliminary statement. I just mentioned I'll let Evan speak to the question that was directed to her on the security in due course. But on visa bans, the mandate of this mission is very clear. It doesn't fall to us to make any comments about visa bans or sanctions of any sort. We're here simply to observe the mission. That's a matter for the European Union, the European Council. We are aware that other jurisdictions have made those calls, but it doesn't fall within the mandate of this mission whatsoever. It's considered an interference in the process. We're here simply to do that, and that's what has engendered a high degree of trust and credibility on the type of findings, conclusions, and recommendations that we make. So I'll hand over, Evan, if you want to address the question.
Thank you very much, Barry, and thank you for the question. As stated in the statement, we of course condemn all kinds of violence that have taken place. And we also call on all actors to adhere and respect the rules that are in place, and in any case of any disputes, that all disputes are sorted out through legal prosecution. So this is our call on all actors in Nigeria, that all disputes should be sorted out through legal prosecution. I hope that everybody will
Thank you so much. We are taking more questions, please. Yes, please go ahead. Introduce yourself and the media.
My name is Zaben
So the question was what mark would we give to the election? Our methodology doesn't allow for anything as clear as a mark. You can give a mark to me as a performing and the chief observer. So we judge and we assess the election based on internationally accepted criteria around election observation missions, and also on the criteria that are contained in international conventions, like the Convention on Civil and Political Rights that Nigeria is a signatory to, and against the election framework that applies here in Nigeria. So, and I also want to emphasize that we're midway through that collation and tabulation is still going on as we speak in other parts of the region across the country. So it would be it's certainly not something that we would do in any circumstances, but we try to assess the election on the basis of exclusivity, transparency, and credibility, and we'll continue to gather up information as time goes on. Thank you.
Thank you again. Do we have more questions? I don't see anyone. No. Okay, so if we don't have more questions, we're going to conclude this press conference. Thank you very much again for participating and for your discussion.
Kungiyar Tarayyar Turai za su yi magana da mu akan abubuwan da suka lura a yayin zaben Najeriya da aka kammala. Za mu koma gaba kaɗan maga yadda za mu iya samun mambobin ƙungiyar da za su yi magana. Ranka ya daɗe, minti ɗaya ka yi magana da mutum ya Halima kana ji sa ranka ya daɗe. To za ka iya mixing, ranka ya daɗe za ka iya mixing in Gausa. Ko za ka dawo ɗan gefen nan, na ga mutane na wuce. Ina live already.
Okay.
Yes, Facebook page mu. So za ka ɗan koma wannan gefen saboda mutane da ke wucewa
akwai roadblock na zan tsaya
nan ya I think mu yi baya kaɗan saboda mutanen da ranka daɗe za ka fara gabatar mana da kanka yadda za ka so mu gabatar da kai
suna na Nuruddin Lemu na observation ne tare da yaga Afrika.
Kasancewar yau kwana na biyu kenan bayan an kammala zaben Najeriya kuma gashi kun iso wannan wurin taro don jin ababen da kungiyar tarayyar turai wato tawagarta da suka zo sa ido suka yi. Menene kake ganin abubuwan da kuka lura da baya ga na kungiyar tarayyar turai da ka saurare su abin da suka faɗa?
To, mu democracy namu sabuwa ce. Kuma za a yi trial and error, za a yi mistakes, za a yi kuskure, akwai wanda an yi su da ba a ji daɗi cewa ana sake irin kuskuren nan ba, koya ne. Fatanmu dai Allah ya da ƙarshe za a samu zaman lafiya ba zai zama abun faɗa ba.
A matsayinka na wanda ya sa ido akan yadda aka gudanar da zaɓe a Najeriya, da menene kai da kanka ka gano a yayin wannan zaɓe?
Akwai abubuwan da kamar rashin kuɗi, matsalan transport, ba a fara abubuwa da wuri ba. Ina ganin cewa akwai wani level na ko overconfidence,
ƙarfin gwiwa mai
yawa wanda bai kamata ba. Amfani da technology on the nationwide scale a duk Najeriya din nan sabuwa ce. Akwai su garuruka can daban irin su Brazil da su sun yi amfani da shi kuma ya amfane su, Kenya abin nan. Amma akwai kuma wani su garuruka kamar su Germany, su ba su amfani da technology, su ba su amince da shi kamar yadda mu muka amince da shi ba. To mu ma dai haka za mu koya, za mu ci gaba da ita, za a gyara ne duk dai can gaba zai, I think ya zama karatu, darasi ne mu ga ya za a ƙara gyara system ɗin ya yi serving, ya taimake mu samun duka irin a yi nasara dai abun dai.
Da ƙarshe ganin ana ci gaba da tattara sakamakon zaɓe a Najeriya, menene fatanka a matsayin mai faɗa aji? Kana cikin ƙungiya da ake cewa interfaith wanda suke shiga tsakanin addinai, menene fatanka ga Najeriya a matsayinka na ɗan Najeriya da kuma a ƙungiyance da kuke ƙoƙarin shiga tsakanin addinai?
Zaman lafiya, kada a yi faɗa. In akwai matsala a kai kotu, zaman lafiya.
Mun gode kwarai da gaske sa. Yawa sannisa. Kamar yadda kuke ji dai mun ci gaba da kawo muku yadda wannan batu na taron kungiyar tawagar tarayyar turai waɗanda suka zo nan wuri domin sanar da Najeriya sakamakon abubuwan da suka gano a nan ɗakin taro na Congress da ke nan birnin tarayya Abuja wato Transcorp Hilton. Ina ƙoƙarin komawa gaba inda mambobin tawagar suke ko za mu iya magana ko zanta da mutum ɗaya wadda zai mana ƙarin bayani akan abin da suka faffada a nan yau. Mambobin kungiyar ko tawagar kungiyar tarayyar turai kenan waɗanda suka zo aikin sa ido a zaben Najeriya. Za mu ji menene muhimman batutuwa da suka yi magana a kai kamar yadda suka yi magana a yayin wannan taro. za mu samu ko zantawa na minti ɗaya ko biyu da waɗannan mutane domin ƙara muku bayani akan abubuwan da suka gano da dai sauransu. Kungiyar Tarayyar Turai Tawagarta da ta yi aikin sa ido a zaben Najeriya na shugaban ƙasa da na 'yan majalisun tarayya, wanda suka hada da majalisar wakilai, 'yan majalisar wakilai da na dattawa. Kamar yadda kuke gani, mambobi ne a nan wanda ake magana da, kuma zan so in kawo muku ɗaya daga cikin waɗanda. Hello. My name is Halima from Voice of America. Can we speak to you for a moment?
Are you from a television?
Voice of America.
Voice of America. Hold on a second. Let me just ask our policy about it, okay?
Okay.
Nikos.
Good afternoon.
If you can, I would say, let's be cautious and ask the head of delegation to do that.
Okay.
I mean, it could be, if you repeat what we've said, and if you say that the head of delegation is, yeah, then we should be okay.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You want
All
to
right.
ask about the election, right?
Yes. Please, let's come this way.
Bilmiyorum açına foto tesirasyon. I'll give you a card so that you know my name.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's just meet you. You can tell us your name by your
Bala Shidvegi, member of the European Parliament.
Okay. The EU team came to Nigeria to observe. The EU team came to Nigeria to observe the situation with the election. And can you brief us about what you guys found out during this election?
Right. As the head of the delegation underlined here at the press conference, we were happy to see Nigerians participate in the elections. We were happy to see that there was a devotion to participation. We observed INEC and how they observed and prepared the elections. We also saw some difficulties. We saw difficulties in the organization, in how polling stations operated with the BVAS machine. It caused some delays. It slowed down the process. We would also encourage a higher participation of women candidates, youth candidates, and if possible a quicker analysis and publication of the results. I myself went to the state of Niger, in Mina and the surroundings. I saw a lot of people very dedicated, the staff at the polling stations as well as the people who took part in the elections. They waited for long hours. The stability of Nigerian democracy and the whole of the development of Africa as well.
So what was your preliminary reports focused on? What did your preliminary reports focused on?
We focused on, sorry?
About the preliminary report, you will be the chief observer will make.
Okay.
Yeah, we focused on these things that I was talking about. Okay. Election preparation, INAC, we met with the foreign minister, we met with religious leaders, NGO and civil society leaders and representatives. We met with the High Court, also INEC, and we were happy to see that they all contributed to the democratic elections in Nigeria. We saw some challenges, the way it was actually done and carried out, and we're looking forward very much to the results, which are taking a bit long to be published, but they should be the ones telling the results of the elections.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you to bakin wani mamba a tawagar kungiyar tarayyar turan nan ya yi mana bayani akan abubuwan da kungiyar su ko tawagar su ta gano. Bari mu dan ji. Sorry, excuse me. Auntie Lara, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Communications in 2012.
Were you my?
No, I was at Mr. Kingsley's office, Kingsley Asian Bank.
Okay.
But I come to the newsroom alone.
How are you?
Very well.
See you. What station do you work for? Are you live?
The house is there.
The house is nice.
Yeah.
I work there before.
I was told.
I worked at the VOA.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, yes. I don't know, I get worried. Is it like the Nigerian government is not taking your recommendations seriously? That has become a recurring in every election?
Well, when we carry out an electoral observation mission, we don't compare with previous elections or with other countries. We start afresh from the time that we are deployed here in Nigeria. And so we have obviously taken note of the violence that's been going on. Some of it has suppressed voter turnout, and that's a very serious issue around the inclusiveness of an election. And we have taken note of that across the country, and it has been an issue. There have been many instances in which the election took place in a very peaceful manner. But I think what we have to point out is that where an electoral offence takes place, it is down to the state authorities to investigate that. However, we have noted that there have been abuses of incumbency, where those who wish to organise rallies where governors are not of the same party, that they have been hindered in some way. We have seen instances in which there have been intimidation, and therefore we took note of these issues, and these fall well short of international standards that Nigeria has set for itself. And we would encourage these cases to be prosecuted, because impunity it discourages people from taking part, and this is not up to the standards of inclusivity that we want to see in these elections.
How would you react to the pockets of violence that occurred, seeing that most of the presidential candidates actually signed a peace accord before the elections, and of course they wouldn't go ahead to carry out these attacks if they are not set by their leaders? So please speak to that. Thank you.
Yes, well, there was 2 peace accords, in fact, and as you rightly note, there was a peace accord last week, and the sentiments of that peace accord are something that we would fully echo in the European Union, and we want to see political participants making very clear statements and not tolerating the type of intimidation that was going on in certain places. And our observations were that there was intimidation going on, and that it was intended to suppress voter turnout, and that's a very serious issue, and it falls well short of the standards that Nigeria sets itself. But there should be very clear pathways to prosecution for those who've carried this out. There should be very clear provisions within the Electoral Act about electoral offences and intimidation of this sort. So we would take note of that, and we will be part of the final report and conclusions and recommendations that we'll make at the end of this process in a few months' time.
Okay, my question is on the process that you monitored so far. Are there recommendations for Nigeria on how you think the process needs to be improved?
So this is a preliminary statement, I think you're indicating, and therefore we are able to make initial observations, but we don't make conclusions and recommendations until the end of the process. So as an observation mission, we will still be here for the governorship elections, and I think it's really important that we stay here for the long haul, that we came here in early January, and that we do our best to try to bring in all of the voices of the stakeholders, civil society, the judiciary, the security services, the political participants, and that has helped us to make those observations. But it is too soon to make recommendations. Nevertheless, it's fairly clear that some of the technology did not operate in the way that was hoped for, that the degree of planning that went into that was not adequate, that the training for some of the staff that were working in polling units was not up to standard, and that opportunities were missed by INEC to ensure that that planning was properly in place. They are observations that we've made at this point. We're very conscious of the fact that collation and tabulation is continuing, and our staff continue to carry out the process of observation, and will continue to do so for the next few weeks. So it's very much a methodology that is very robust and is credible, the way we work, and we hope that therefore the conclusions that we arrive at are well received by the Nigerian authorities and have an impact. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Okay, kamar yadda kuka gani shugaban tawagar kungiyar tarayyar turai da ta shigo Najeriya don sa ido akan aikin zaɓe ya yi magana. Sunan shi Barry Andrews, wanda shine ya jagoranci wannan tawaga zuwa Najeriya tun watan Janairu domin tabbatar da cewa an sa ido akan yadda ya kamata zaben nan to ta wakana. Abokiyar aiki na Shamsiya za ta shigo wannan wuri domin ƙara tattauna akan muhimman abubuwa da suka ce an gano, wanda suka kunshi matsalar na'ura, wato na'urar BVAS, inda aka ce za amfani da wata na'ura ta IREV don tabbatar da cewa an sanar da sakamakon zaɓe nan take idan aka gama jefa ƙuri'a a duk inda aka fito. Kuma shi Barry Andrew ya jaddada cewa nan da watanni 3 bayan an kammala komai na zaben nan shine za a sanar da sakamakon abubuwan da suka gano, amma a yanzu dai abubuwan da suka gano ya kunshi matsalar na'ura, makara da wasu jami'an hukumar INEC suka yi zuwa wajen zaɓe, da kuma yadda aka yi ta yi wa wasu barazana, wato 'yan daba suka yi wa wasu barazana ba su bari sun jefa ƙuri'arsu ba, sakamakon yadda wasu suke goyon bayan wasu 'yan jam'iyyu, wasu kuma na goyon bayan jam'iyyu na daban. Wannan abu ne da duk kusan 'yan Najeriya na dako, kasancewar wannan tawagar ta kungiyar tarayyar turai ta iso Najeriya tun watan Janairu domin duba shirye-shiryen INEC da kuma yadda za a gudanar da taron zaben na shugaban kasa wanda aka yi ran asabar 25 ga watan Fabrairu da muke ciki. Ya zuwa yanzu dai ana ci gaba da tattara sakamakon zaɓe a wasu jihohin. An riga an sanar da wanda suke kan gaba a 'yan takara wanda suke kan gaba, misali su 3 da jam'iyyar Labour wanda suke da Peter Obi, jam'iyyar PDP da ke da Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, da kuma APC wanda ke da Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. To a daidai wannan lokaci za mu dasa aya, za mu ci gaba da kawo muku yadda abubuwa ke tafe da kuma sakamakon bincike ko kuma aikin sa ido da wannan kungiya ta yi a Najeriya. Assalamu alaikum.